All right,
Boom.
ready. Welcome back to the Military Retirement Podcast, streaming everywhere. When I say everywhere, Facebook, we got 3 channels on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and 2 channels on YouTube through the Military Retirement Podcast and the Green Logbook. So awesome that we're able to hit all these different networks and all that good stuff every Sunday.
Streaming
doing,
like
John?
this and like this.
I just hid the vertical because I'm looking at myself double time and I don't know who to look at. I don't know where to look. So
Too much info.
exactly. Yeah, there's too much going on right here, right now. I can't. We gotta dumb it down a little bit. So what's going on, man? How's the week?
Been good, man. Just staying busy, trying to get a little bit more exercise physically. And by exercise, I mean cutting down trees and chainsawing things and chopping roots and digging stuff up. I hired a couple guys to come and help me out because I know I can't do it on my own. And it's one of those moments where I put away the soldier uniform for a minute and I'm like, you know what? It's cool to be the gung-ho, do it all by yourself guy, but how about I just call in some help and call in a friend and see if I can have some people help me out. And it's a lot better when you do it with other people. That's why we do this together. It's a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable when you do it with somebody else.
Hell yeah. I remember when I think I told you a story when I was starting the live stream by myself.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of sitting there staring. There was nobody watching. It was like 0 viewers on there. And I'm just talking to myself. And after a while, I turned it off. I walked to the bathroom. I rinsed my face off and I looked in the mirror. I'm like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Like, get your life together. Are you talking to yourself? But eventually it grew, right? But that was a hard thing for me to swallow a little bit. But eventually started growing, and then we got Navy Cop on the line. So thanks, Navy Cop, for stopping by. No, it's I agree, man. When you're chopping wood, especially when it has to do with something physical, you want to have some help there. I mean, like, there's enough kids around my neighborhood who stop by and ask if they can cut grass and stuff like that, or pick weeds, or I got 2 kids here. You know, I got 2 boys that'll do all that stuff all day.
Not only that, it also translates a lot into all kinds of other things as well, as far as like resources, tools, little things that you don't think about. These guys brought a bunch of stuff with them. I think we had one of those pickaxe things yesterday. They were out there with the pickaxe, and
you're sitting there with a hacksaw or something.
No, I was sitting there watching for a minute because they were doing their thing. One guy had the chainsaw, the other guy had the pickaxe, and I was just taking a break for a minute and just watching. And I was like, I have a pickaxe downstairs, and I also have a big like mauler, like one of those axe mauler things to split wood with, and a couple other things. I was like, let me just go get it. So I went downstairs, I grabbed it, came back upstairs. As soon as I walked back out into the garden, these guys had already broke the handle on the pickaxe in half.
Oh shit!
And I was standing there with another one. He's like,
"Yeah,
man, you're a lifesaver."
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, I don't do any of that stuff myself, man. Like, we got a big tree in the backyard. Yeah. And my kids, like, I got one of those little hand saws, you know, I don't know what you call them, hacksaws or whatever. This dude will climb up. He's like a freaking spider monkey. You climb up, start chopping or taking the stuff off. But the funny thing is, my tree goes into the neighbor's yard. So all the shit that he's cutting off is dropping. And there's like, the house is for rent. There's nobody living there right now.
Right.
So it's like, we're just like, the entire backyard is full of shit. Oh man, we got to get somebody to clean that up before somebody moves in there. Yeah. But aside from that, man, I'm glad the weekend's good. I'm glad that your back is safe. If you got injured, understand that it's not service connected. I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. Not service connected. Yeah, exactly. But the week's been good for me as well. Like I mentioned prior to, I talked to more people in this last week that I've talked to probably in all of 2025. Like, my notes were full. My calendar is full for the upcoming week. It's insane. Next week, for anybody out there, I put a post out there on the YouTube, the Green Logbook YouTube channel, and kind of insane. But if anybody's familiar with who Chesty Puller is, Chesty Puller, one of the most famous, most decorated Marines in Marine Corps history. I will be doing a live stream and a show from his house. So I will be staying at the Puller House, and this is in Virginia. I could not have picked a worse time to fly to Virginia. Like I didn't know when I booked these tickets, like what last month. Um, I I didn't know. Like I didn't think about it. I thought, hey, Virginia, whatever, in January, it's probably gonna be a little cold. Holy crap, man! Like the whole winter storm coming through. I'm like, man, I had already gotten my rental car. So I wish I would have gotten like a 4-wheel drive. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
So got to hope for the best, but I will be doing a live stream from, yeah, there you go, Lieutenant General Lewis Burwell Chesty Puller House. Yep. So it's owned by a retired Marine, the house is. And so I'll be doing the live stream there. I'll be going to visit his gravesite, which is 5 miles away. Like he's not at a national cemetery or anything. It's just at this little church, this little area right by his house, 5 miles away. So I'll
Yep.
be staying there for a little bit. Super excited about that. And I'll be, yeah, just look out for that one. And I'll be doing an interview with the guy who bought the house. He's a retired Chief Warrant Officer 4, purchased the place. We'll be sitting down, probably in front of the fireplace, hanging out, bringing all the equipment and all that good stuff with me. Uh, yeah, aside from that, man, it's a lot of connections, a lot of networks, which is exactly what we want to do, exactly where we want to be. The more people you know, the better.
That's
Uh,
right.
a quick shout out to, and I'll bring these guys up on the screen here. Gosh, where is it? Okay, here we go. Was on the phone yesterday with this retired colonel from who helps run the 17 or the Ton Tavern project, the Ton Tavern project. So this thing is pretty cool. As we all know, as most of us know, the Marine Corps was born in what they say a bar, right? So a tavern. Um, so this is cool. It's not just for Marines. It also has some naval legacy. It's for all services, right? So they don't call it the Marine Corps Tavern or anything. It's the Ton Tavern. So excuse me. So they're still trying to build this thing up. They're in the fundraising phase, and I mean, you can go on the board of directors to see who's on here. I think like General Pace is on here. A lot of known folks on here. They are in the fundraising phase. They got the projects. They already have everything scheduled and listed with the city of Philadelphia. But as you can see here, it's going to be built here. It's going to be across from the USS New Jersey, and a lot of the funds that they raise as well is going to be going to the community. So very cool area. It's going to look just like the old school Ton Tavern. Very, very nice. Right now, there's only a sign like this, right across the street or right by the Ton Tavern where it stood. I don't know why it no longer stands there, but they're going to be rebuilding it, and they're going to make this entire like eatery area in the back. So it's super nice. Anyhow, yeah, this is what it looks like, what it will look like on the inside. Anyway, I want to give them a shout out. They're doing great things. Can't wait to get my foot in there to actually see this place. And just yesterday, I joined the 1775 Club, which you pay $17.75 per month, and they send you a shirt 1 month. 3 months in, they send you a certificate, and 12 months in, they send you your very own serialized challenge coin, which is good for a 75-cent ale or whatever the hell you drink. Does anybody drink ale anymore?
I haven't even heard the term in such a long time.
So you get some Ton ale there for 75 cents between these hours. But it's cool because it's serialized. It's your very own challenge coin. So I just joined up yesterday. Again, had a very good conversation with that retired colonel, and just awesome. And I can't wait to meet this guy. And they potentially want to jump on the Military Retirement Podcast as well. So shout out to them. And if you haven't already seen it, go to theton.org and check it out yourself.
Yeah, pretty amazing. I think I might be signed. I love the way when you go to the members of the Ton Club or the 1775 Club, and it's just scrolling by and scrolling by and scrolling by, and then you can like hover over it and it'll pause it. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
I love it.
there's a whole lot of them, man. And there's There's some Brigadier General on here. I mean, there's General Peter Pace. I mean, I met General Pace when I was at TBS, the basic school, many years ago. But yeah, retired more than 40 years of active duty service as a United States Marine. 16th chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, military advisor to the president, secretary of defense. So a lot of good folks on here. Let's see here. What do we got from Navy Cop here? Drop $10,000 and you can be an individual plank owner on the project. Yes, you can. Or he also mentioned, what was it?
Keystone.
You can donate. You can donate, he said, $2,500. You get your very own Stein, which is created by the only female coppersmith in the nation. And it is a legacy tankard, which means that you can hand that down to your next of kin, and they can go over there and just ask to have their drink refilled, and they will refill the Stein. So I plan on doing that myself once the channel starts making some money.
once we get all that affiliate marketing money, finally, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. No, that I plan on doing that myself at some point because I think it'd be cool, right? Like I go over there, I don't know how often I'm going to be in Philadelphia, but just knowing that my name is somewhere, like part of a legacy like that it's being rebuilt. And then as my son, he wants to join the Navy at some point, just have that same tankard handed down to him, that same Stein handed down to him, and he can go over there at any point in time during his lifetime and continue drinking that. And as long as that building stands, it just gets handed down from generation to generation. Something about the legacy thing, it hits home for me.
Yeah. No, it's amazing, man. Amazing. Yeah. And also a great model of what a good nonprofit looks like. I guess it's nonprofit, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Or at least this part of it, the restoration and the historical.
They got a tax ID, legacy, the Ton Legacy Foundation.
Yeah, it's got to be board directors advisory committee. It's got to be a nonprofit.
I mean, I'm looking for it. Yeah. So,
but
very cool stuff. I mean, I just sent an email over there, asked to speak to somebody about. Oh yeah, there you go. 501c3 nonprofit organization.
Yep.
I just sent an email over there asking to speak to somebody about potentially having them on the podcast, and they're like, "Hey, we'd love to talk to you." So, very cool stuff.
Yeah.
Additionally, I spoke to, and I actually have a meeting with this guy. This dude is insane, man. Insane in a good way. Insane in a good way. So this gentleman he's looking to change up the face of the way the VFW works, and across California specifically. And I plan on doing a whole podcast with this guy. So I won't spill too much of it, but he's a retired Navy SEAL. He is a former firefighter, and this guy is looking to make the VFWs like wellness centers for veterans, vice just being a place where you go and drink. And I laugh about that too, because it really is a place to go and drink. Like I went to 3 VFWs in this past week, specifically because I wanted to connect with these folks and see about recording episodes at the VFWs themselves, right? I have a recording studio here. It's not that big. I'm not bringing people into this recording studio. I would rather do it like in a public place, maybe like a VFW, where they have tables. It's big enough to potentially have a back room or something like that. So 2 of the 3 that I went to had already had a line of like Vietnam veterans sitting around the bar having some drinks. And I'm like, it was like noon. Yeah. I guess what else do you have to do, right? Yeah. So I went in there. I'm like, it really is. And I always feel like I'm the youngest one there. I'm in my early 40s. I'm not old, but I'm not that young. But I never see anybody, even after hours, even after 5 to 8 or anything like that. I never really see folks around my age, like the Gigawatt era folks,
Yeah.
going into these VFWs, and it makes you wonder why. Why? Because I feel, and I think we've talked about this before. I feel like the Gigawatt era folks are. It's not so much drinking culture like it used to be, like from older generations. Now we focus more on health and wellness, trying to live as long as possible to enjoy life. Not saying that the older generations don't do that. It's just kind of a different mindset. So looking forward to sitting down with this gentleman and seeing what he's got to say, and what he wants to do with the VFWs. Because I think when I see the numbers and how much they've dwindled, the VFWs have got to do something, because their memberships are just they're just going down, straight down. So, and I think I mentioned to you, John, before, what I would love to see in a VFW is like a back corner that has like a library, like just a shelf with some books, just chill, like a chill spot, right? A couple couches, a podcast or YouTube studio in the back to collect stories from those veterans, and have somebody who kind of mans all that area in the back. Like, hey, if you want to record something, either you can do it like self-record, hey, press here, record your story, or meet up with somebody once a week, record your story there in the back of the VFW. It doesn't have to be just around the bar, and then potentially charge for studio time, for the use of the podcast or the podcasting room or whatever.
Yeah, not only that, I mean, you get to document, like we're looking at a couple of these places you're going to be heading out to soon. You get to document a part of history, because I mean, that's a big part of, even the VA does it, right? They document a lot of stories about veterans, and they try to highlight, I guess, the ones that are more dramatic or more drastic. But just like we're trying to do, we document stories of people transitioning out of the military, but we also dig into their history and their military service and like some of the stuff that they've done. And we uncover stuff in the course of a conversation, because we are allowing people to answer the questions and actually talk and speak about things and go off on tangents, which you don't get to see in a lot of regular kind of media or documentary type interviewing. And so in that kind of format, you're actually documenting a part of the history of that particular VFW, of the folks that are going there on a regular basis, people who are members, and getting their stories and having that kind of like historical documentation in the vaults for future use or for promotion or for whatever they need to use it for, to highlight those folks.
And it doesn't need to be like National Archives type things. It could live with a VFW somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let me I wanted to share this photo. Let me send it to the MacBook there.
Morning, Army Grunt.
Yeah, Army Grunt, U.S. Army Grunt. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, feels good to be alive, doesn't it? Let's see here. Let me share this. This was a cool story here. Let me share this window. Here we go. So this gentleman, let's see if it'll show up. This gentleman right here. Want to give him a shout out. All right. This gentleman's name is Hammer. That's what he goes by. That's what he told me. I don't know if his last name is Time. I'm not sure. But his first name, from what he told me, is Hammer. And I met this gentleman at a bookstore. I was at a bookstore. I was picking up a couple of biographies. I was looking for something. And I picked this guy up here, Colin Powell. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But as I was going through the aisles, I saw his hat. I saw all the pins on there. I think I can't recall the pin that he had on the side of the unit. But he has a sergeant pin in the front, of course, the Vietnam veteran hat. And I went up to him. I'm like, hey, sir, want to say thank you for your service. Shook his hand, and he's like, oh, thank you. He's like, did you ever serve? I'm like, yeah, I did. I was, and then when you tell him about that, I told him I did 20 years in the Marine Corps, retired. out of here, and then just kind of stuck around. And when you connect on a level like that, it immediately like opened him up. He's like, "Oh yeah, tell me about that. Tell me about your time." He's like, "You ever go overseas?" I was like, "Yeah, I was part of OIF. I went to Iraq in about 2005." He's like, "Oh, I was in Vietnam." I was like, "Oh, that's crazy. Tell me about it." He's like, "Look, I got a bunch of footage on 8 millimeter film at my house, and if you ever wanted to come by, let me know." We exchanged information. I gave
Yep.
him my card. I was like, "I would love to come by your place, sit down for a drink, and if you don't mind, I'd love to record it as well, like our interaction, conversation, all that." Because he had a lot to say. He had
Yep.
a lot of information, and I'm like, I'm not going to retain all this information here in the bookstore, but I would love to kind of sit there and listen to you and see what you got. I'm sure he's got some cool shit at his house anyway. But yeah, shout out to Mr. Hammer, potentially last name Time, and what his invitation to his place, and I look forward to it to document those stories from these Vietnam veterans. Big reason being, I mean, a lot of these folks are older,
Yep.
right? He mentioned he's what, 80 something,
Yep.
mid 80s. And I told him he looks freaking good for his age because I
Oh,
thought he
yeah.
was like, in his 60s. But in his 80s, and he's like, "Well, a lot of us getting older. I'd love for you to come by and share the story." I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's do it, man." We shook on it. And then he finished off with, "Do you know who?" He goes, "Do you know who Jocko is?" I'm like, "I do."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, my son and his son are really good, or my son and him are really good friends."
Hmm.
I was like, "Hey, how about an introduction, man? Let's do it." So potentially something may happen there. I don't know,
Nice.
but yeah, looking forward to sitting down with Mr. Hammer and seeing what he's got to say about his Vietnam veteran days. Let's see here.
Just out there
Close that out
socializing,
here.
man. Jesus.
Hey, you know what, man? It feels good, and I joke. I I feel like I'm a very introverted person, but when it comes to something that I'm passionate about, that I really love to talk about, I would
Yep.
just open up. I would just open up, and I didn't go there. And it was funny to see that because we were right in the middle of the bookstore, in the middle of the aisle. It was between. They have a business and right across. He was looking at the business stuff. I was looking at the philosophy stuff. It was like right there.
Yep.
And when we got to talking and sharing the stories, and I told him, "Hey, I run this podcast. I do this YouTube channel, blah, blah." And there was a group of like 5 people just around us, just listening to us talk about whatever the hell we were talking about. I didn't
Yep.
even notice it until I like looked around and I'm like, "The fuck is everybody doing?" Just like watching us, like smiling while watching us talk.
Hmm.
So it was a good experience to be able to connect with somebody like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to we've been reaching out and been trying to get some more people on the show. Looking forward to we were gonna do it last weekend. I think we had to reschedule for was it the
Mhm.
8th of February, I believe.
Yep.
To be talking and some more digging deeper into some Title 32 Reserve / National Guard kind of retirement situations and some of those things we had Chief Michelle on there a while back, a few months ago actually, and we were talking about gray area retirement, and he's pretty well versed expert on him. He's done a lot of digging, a lot of research. He stays up to date on that stuff, and he's a warrant officer, so he's nerding out on that, I guess, is what you would call it, because that's what warrant officers do. We nerd out.
That's it.
But he's dug up some more stuff, and he's getting, I guess, closer to his actual Title 32 retirement. And he was trying to figure out some things, and he's dug up some more information. So we're going to have him back on talking about some reserve type retirement stuff. I believe last week we had Raider HQ was in the comments chatting it up with us.
Yeah, that's right.
You were on a podcast with them not too long ago. And so I went ahead and sent him the email out, or he sent an email in, and I sent him back the email with the information for scheduling. So hopefully soon, whenever he gets back to us, we're gonna get him on the show and have a chat and try not to curse, as he said.
Yeah. So he it's funny because he on that podcast he does do a little bit of cursing or whatever. So I thought that was because he does get fired up, and I love that passion that he's got. He gets fired up about that. Yeah. I'll tell you. Let me. I'll share this here. I just connected with this gentleman. He is a veteran. He released a book called "Veteran Stories of Transition and Transformation." He doesn't know I'm going to give him a shout out, but I'm going to do that anyway. His book is en route over to me. Gosh, where is it? It's always fun trying to figure out which tab all this stuff is on. Here we go. So just a shout out to this gentleman here. His name is Heriberto Arambula, PhD. Veteran Stories of Transition and Transformation. 25 Personal Narratives of Military Service, Higher Education, and Career Success by Robert B. Turrell, which is another doctor that he wrote it with, and Heriberto Arambula. So look forward to speaking with this gentleman. Told him I don't want to set anything up until I actually read his book because I want to know what the hell I'm talking about. So that's I don't want to bring somebody on and just like nod my head as they talk about their book, and I don't know what the hell they're talking about. So that's gonna be fun. Got his book en route. If Dr. Jeff Schwartz, who I was just on his podcast, Overwatch 5-9, if he is listening, thank you, sir, for the book. Dr. Jeff Schwartz is another gentleman. He has a doctorate in criminal justice. He does military training and law enforcement training and tactics. He does a lot of instruction. He owns a couple of businesses. I was just on his podcast, Overwatch 5-9. If you haven't heard it, freaking amazing guy, awesome dude. We connected on the Veterans Coffee thing, and this gentleman sent me a book on criminal justice. It's in my other room right now, or else I'd show it to you. No, actually, it's right here. Sorry. He actually wrote this book here. I told him I did, military justice and, was interested in criminal justice at one point. He's like, dude, let me send you this book I wrote. So shout out to right here, Dr. Jeff Schwartz, criminal justice, internship manual, just kind of to peruse to see what he's got to say. Very interesting.
Yeah, we should have go to the comments see if he wants to come over here and jump on the podcast as well.
Is that
from the 5-9?
Oh, Overwatch 5-9, yeah.
Yeah. Be nice.
Real quick, going to the comments. Navy cop started working with the local community, military appreciation committee, nonprofit, and they mentioned starting to work on some sort of media presence, such as a podcast. Might start one with them. Dude, that is you need to, Navy cop. I'm telling you, man, you will love it. You will love it. It is doing this stuff is awesome. Connecting with people is awesome. Sharing the stories is great. Definitely start a podcast, man. I'm a firm believer that every veteran out there should share their story. You know, successes, failures, and all that stuff. Just kind of lock that legacy in, because it could definitely it'll help you talk about it. When you do talk about it, and it will definitely help the next person who potentially is going through a lot of what you're going through. Let me see. Navy cop says, just met a 100-year-old World War II veteran that lives in our area. Harry Humison served under Patton, and after the war helped to design the Sidewinder missile system. Wow.
Crazy.
I bet that dude's got some stories.
Hmm.
See, just Navy cop, those are the stories you don't want to go away. If you can lock that dude's story in and share it, then you should. That's actually something you could put on the buddy project. on the buddy. I mean, we're giving you more projects for the buddy project, dude. It's like I don't, I don't. I know you got a job now, Navy cop.
Or if you want to go set it up for us, and you want us to do the heavy lift for it, I mean, we'll be happy to have him on and happy to talk to him. I mean, shit.
Yeah,
that's definitely one of those stories you don't want to let go away, because that's
absolutely,
yeah.
Do it, and I'm telling you, I'm willing to travel, man. I really am. I'm already traveling. Like I mentioned, I'm already traveling to Virginia, and to stay at Chesty Puller's house. So that's kind of like not really a Marine Corps Mecca type place, but it kind of feels like it. You know, like when you go to Iwo Jima, you walk on the sands of Iwo Jima, you touch the black sand, you go up to the hill, you know, Mount Suribachi, you go up there. That is like something that every Marine wants to do, has ever wanted to do, right? And I think another one is like actually walk in the house of the most decorated, most famous Marine in Marine Corps history. And I'm like, I get a chance to do that here in a few days. So yeah, definitely want to lock in that that video. But yeah, just I'm willing to travel around Navy Cop is what I'm saying. So if you don't want to do it, let me know. I will talk to Mr. Harry Humison, the 100-year-old World War II veteran. Shout out to Bravo 12 Bravo 10. Welcome.
12 bang bang.
I like the I'm looking at the profile picture. Is that him just with a cigarette in his mouth?
Might be.
Hanging out. Yeah, man. But there's a lot of stuff going on, man. 2026 is starting off with the freaking bang, dude. It really is. I couldn't be more thankful for everything coming down our way. You know, in the fogginess and kind of a messiness that is happening across the country right now, it's good to know that there's a community that we can connect with and talk to on a weekly basis. Share some coffee. I got my brew right here. I hope you folks have some as well. I know 12 Bravo 10 does, and it's good to connect with folks. It really is.
Interesting.
Harley for
Interesting
Bill.
Backstory.
Who's that?
The Harry Humison. I was looking at his little kind of biography. Interesting. Very interesting. He was just in Czech Republic just last year for the Liberation Festival in Pilsen in Czech. Wow.
Let me see. Wow. I think right now would be a pretty good time to give a shout out to some of the sponsors of the channel that help make this all happen. And I want to really give a big thank you and a shout out to, let me put it up here, Josh Cantrell from Movement Financial, Army veteran. Yeah, Josh, Army veteran, awesome guy. As soon as he retired, he became a financial guy, financial planner, financial advisor. And like I can talk about this stuff all day, but I am not like licensed or anything like that. So please don't listen to this guy. Listen to that guy. Listen to Josh at Movement Financial. He will get things done for you. Financial planning, retirement planning, or if you just want information. I believe he said he's a fiduciary, so he doesn't get paid unless like he doesn't get paid by you up front or whoever uses his services. I don't know exactly how that works, but check him out. Give him a call. Just see what he's about. Moving Financial.
Yeah. Josh is and that's one of the top, like probably top 3, top 5 things that most people getting out of the military, even if they're not retiring, that's one of the top 5 things that people are trying to figure out. Like, how do I move my TSP into a regular 401k? How do I do this? How do I do that? What do I need for health insurance and life insurance and all these things? And that's why we brought Josh on the show a couple times. Actually, he's been on a few times, and wanted to talk to him because he is deep in the weeds. Him and his wife both taking care of financial stuff and taking it from the perspective of a veteran helping other veterans. He's really deeply motivated by that kind of like that
Yeah.
catchphrase of his his kind of mission statement in life in general. So fiduciary responsibility, though, duty of loyalty, duty of care, duty of good faith, duty of disclosure, duty
Hmm.
of confidentiality. So basically, the things that he's doing is in the good interest of the person he's working with, whether it's a veteran or
100%.
just a regular civilian. So and I believe he takes his initial calls for no payment. I'm pretty sure that's the model that he's working off of, the
Yeah.
initial
Yeah. I think
consult.
so.
So it doesn't cost anything to reach out and ask a few questions. And then if you need some additional advice or additional information, or if you want to get registered to, sign up for healthcare or get your money in a good position, that's how you go about doing it the right
That's
way.
your man. Josh is your man at Movement Financial. And I think Harley for Bill says you need to have him on. You mean, I'm assuming he means Josh.
Josh.
Yeah. So we might have to
I-
get a hold of Josh again to have him on, because the money talk is real.
Yeah.
The money talk is real, and when you are leaving the military, becoming a civilian, you need to know, just like you mentioned, what you're going to do with your TSB. What do I do with this pile of money here? How do I help this thing grow? And especially like when you're down the line too, after you've gotten out, maybe you don't want to keep your money there in a savings account. What do you do to help it grow? Oh, right on. Harley for Bill. I reached out to him after I heard him on your chat. Awesome, man. Hopefully everything worked out, and we got some stuff done for you. I want to give another shout out here to this is a sponsor of the Green Logbook. This one is Wild Bill's Craft Beverage Company. You might see them on my mug there. They sent me over a cool sticker. So this dude, like, you can find these at like different beverage companies. I can't say the names of which ones, but I know that they're out there, the big beverage companies around the nation. Veteran owner operated. This guy is a Navy veteran, and he's looking to work with other veterans. So he has a ton of franchises he wants to bring up, and he's got some excellent stuff happening with like 50% off franchises for veterans and first responders, law enforcement, and like they'll help you along the way. I've heard nothing but great stuff from the people who are franchising this stuff. And the coolest thing is they have these little trucks that you drive around to like places like Sturgis or something, and you just serve like the actual beverage out of like these barrels. It's pretty it's pretty damn cool. But yeah, here's the franchise stuff here. Of course, this lady, everybody, this is a good catch-all here.
No.
But yeah, hands-on support and training, national brand recognition, a lot of good stuff. They sent me over a mug so I can try some stuff out. I'm going to go pick up some of their drinks. So, and if you have one of the mugs, it's pretty cool because you just go over there and you get like refills. So I'm not sure exactly if it's like a discount or what, but as far as working with them, Wild Bill's Old Fashioned Soda Pop Company, you can find them at, let me get you the correct website, drinkwildbills.com. Shout out to them. Awesome folks doing the damn thing. I love this one. And that's a big thing too, like where folks who don't know what to do after they leave the military. Like I played around with that idea too, like franchising and a lot of times you got to pay a lot of money into that. But this guy, Wild Bills, they're like, yeah, we'll there's like financing available. Then they do the 50% off for veterans and law enforcement and first responders.
Yeah.
So easier way to get your foot in the door and to start something with all the support that they provide. Very cool stuff.
Definitely. Yeah. I actually looked into franchising a couple times before I got out while I was still in uniform. Did all the research. I actually did like a term paper on it as well. And you're looking at a few $100,000 just to get your foot in the door. Some of these companies want you to be interned, kind of embedded with a local store or whatever for 6 months to a year. There's a lot of upfront costs, not just money, but time. So if you've got somebody who's veteran focused and wants to work with you and will walk you and lead you along step by step along the way, that's a no-brainer if you're trying to go into franchising.
Yeah, yeah, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. Yeah. So, what is Harley for Bill talking about? E4 Mafia and Warrant Officer Liberation Front. Man, what are you talking about, dude? That's funny. I'll give a shout out to this channel here. It's these guys make me laugh. It's run by this retired master sergeant, and he lives nearby. And I say nearby, probably like an hour away, maybe. And they're hilarious, man. Because I'll actually put them on here. And if you guys are listening, hey, shout out to you guys. These guys are hilarious, man. It's called the Lit Dads Podcast. The Lit Dads Podcast, and what they do, it's hilarious. What they do is they're sitting in their backyards, and they smoke in their backyards, and they just cut jokes, man. And we'll talk about like Marine Corps stuff and military stuff, and they just cut jokes about whatever. And it's hilarious just to sit there because they do live streams where they're just sitting there, just munching on cookies, just talking their crap, and it's just hilarious to watch them talk their crap. And at one point, we had this running joke where the dude, he was drinking a Gatorade, and he mentions it tastes like Eagle's blood. And I'm laughing. I'm like, what the hell does Eagle's blood taste like, dude? But yeah, just shout out to them, man. If you ever get a chance to, they're a smaller channel, but we, definitely like watching what they're putting out there. It's kind of one of those when I've had kind of a long day, I'll sit back and just kind of join in on their live stream. I was on their podcast before. That's how I found out about them. But I'll just kind of sit there and decompress and just talking exactly like Harley for Bill mentioned, military veterans talking smack and cutting up. That's exactly what it is. I imagine it's something like you're at the smoke pit on a Friday night, or if you smoke or whatever on a Friday night, and then just talking some smack and just laughing about whatever Gunny's doing this, or Staff Sergeant's doing that, whatever. Just talking your crap. Yeah, but definitely check them out.
Excellent.
Brotherhood, we miss it in the civilian world. Yeah, we do 100%. You don't get the same type of well, it's because you're always like you're in the shit per se together, right? You train together, you sweat together, you're around each other at the barracks all the time. It's kind of like that friendship, that group is embedded in there for you. It's you're walking into a set of friends already. You may not like them all, but they're there for you. So when that's gone, it's like, damn, what do you got now? You kind of, you don't realize it until it's gone. And it gets a little harder as you go up in rank as well. All the fun stuff happens when you're younger in the barracks. Yep. And then I recall when I was like the director, like the OIC of the section, and it's kind of like a pyramid. It's lonely up top. It really is. Who am I going to hang out with? The CO?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh, and man. especially if you're overseas, we don't have VFWs and stuff like that. That's why I'd be really keen to sit down and talk with that guy as well, if I get a chance to
Which
just ask him.
Which guy?
The guy doing the VFW stuff there in Southern California.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to pick his brain, ask him some questions, and figure out if he's got any ideas about like veteran service organizations. We've had one or two going on overseas, and there's just these pockets of spaces. Like, if you get into these big bases like Ramstein or something like that, it's a huge military community to begin with, and then the veteran community in that second or third layer outside of that is just really a lot bigger, a lot more involved. Even like the warrant officer associations and stuff like that, they're all kind of centralized near those really big bases. But when you get out to these smaller pockets, right, it's harder to find the veterans, and in my case, I find the veterans who are, you know, coming on base to go hang out and play slot machines or go hang out at the bar or whatever, you know, the older guys or girls. And it's a handful of people. So trying to find that kind of veteran community and get together with them, and then also continue to put stuff on and do stuff for the betterment of the group, and not just come and hang out and drink beer or drink whatever. It's a tough thing, especially when you've got that looming kind of VFW mindset, you know, that kind of sets the pathway. So trying to change that and tweak that and make people, and fulfilling that for a broad age group of people. So
yeah. I'd be curious to know about that, because you know, they don't really have like American organizations like VFWs overseas. I'm wondering, like in these places like Normandy or something like that, where they were like a lot of American folks, American service members, if they have something like that out there, like a Normandy VFW post. Actually, I've never looked that up. I've never thought of that before. Let me see here real quick. I want to give a quick shout out to oh gosh, here we go. Make sure I get this gentleman's name correct. And you may be watching, maybe you might not, but this gentleman's name is Jason Palomara. I was just on the phone with him this week. We did a Google Meet, and this gentleman is awesome. He's I'm gonna share his page on here. I'm telling you, this week was all about connecting with folks. And this guy is a Marine Corps veteran. Okay, he lives not too far from me. He's going to make the drive over my way to actually sit down and do a podcast. He runs this company called Living Blue Apparel. What they make, the proceeds that they make, go to helping out law enforcement and veterans with cancer. So you can see here, I mean, he's got a lot of good stuff, and you know, mugs and backpacks. I think that the Under Armour backpack is one of the coolest things I've seen. But a lot of cool stuff. But anything that they make, you know, service disabled, veteran owned, certified, goes to the you know, these folks, these veterans, these law enforcement folks who are struggling with that. So big shout out to them. You know, he's right here, Jason Palomara. He runs it with his wife and another looks like a social worker. But very cool stuff. I had the honor and privilege of sitting down with him for probably an hour. And funny enough, it's a small world because we kind of grew up close to around the same area. And then we mentioned, yeah, you know, we didn't want to live in California, but because our wives wanted to live in California, we're here in California. And I'm like, dude, me too. You know, it's funny how it's funny how small the world is. We connect like that.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Living Blue Apparel for that.
So just taking a look online real quick, there are actually VFWs around the world. But again, it's places where there are like bigger communities of military folks and veterans, both. Like, for example, Stuttgart or Kaiserslautern in Germany are big military communities. In Italy, unfortunately, there's one, and it's in Vicenza, and that's a few hours away. So can't make it to that one. But yeah, I'd love to know if there would be a way or how, or what the kind of like minimum amount of people you would need to be able to have something like that.
You looking to start one?
I mean, we're trying to work on VSOs locally here, veteran service organizations, VSOs. Locally here, we had one, it kind of disbanded, and now we're trying to build another one back up, I think. But it's really, it's tough, actually. So that's funny. The commander of the VFW in Italy is one of the guys I used to work with in Germany back in the day. All right. Pretty cool.
Small world.
Small goddamn world. No, but yeah, it's just trying to build an organization and trying to build a group of veterans and trying to build it in a way that's conducive to the veterans and also conducive to making a footprint, like making a big enough footprint on the ground here so that you've got, enough people and enough, I guess, leadership roles filled and all that stuff. So interesting. I'm gonna have to reach out to my buddy and see if he's got some ideas since he's in Italy. Yeah, but there's ones all over the world: Japan, Korea, Philippines, Puerto Rico, Taiwan, Thailand, Western Australia. Nice.
So real quick, I'm gonna share some stuff here. Okay. First off, yes, definitely check that out. If I think it would be awesome to have a place, though you're in Italy and people like to get out and see the Italian side of things, awesome to have a place kind of like to feel like home when everything becomes overwhelming a little bit when you're overseas. Yeah, we have, folks here from, service members here from, in Italy from the US, come hang a beer with us at the VFW. That'd be awesome. Somewhere outside in the community, right?
Yeah, and there's plenty of people that come here and visit for vacation and stuff and spend time over here either way, flying back and forth.
Yeah.
So tons of people come through here.
Wanted to share. I don't know if I've talked about it last week. I probably didn't because it just got released. 3 bills that came into law. The president signed off 3 bills, which is a big deal, right? Because we've been tracking a lot of these things on Congress.gov. And I get the emails saying, hey, we got another author on this thing, or we got somebody else on the committee that jumped on it, right? But there hasn't been a lot of movement as far as getting things signed until it was, oh gosh, when did he sign these things off? It was the 21st, I want to say, or the 20th of January. So just 5 days ago. And it was HR 224, the Disabled Veterans Housing Support Act, and make sure veterans don't lose out on housing help just because they receive disability compensation. Usually that money counts as income, and it could accidentally push a veteran over the limit to qualify for low-income housing programs. The law stops that from happening, ensuring that the benefits earned through service actually help veterans stay in their homes instead of disqualifying them. So if you make too much and say like disability pay, they could push you over a limit. I can't recall. I mean, I think every state has a different limit. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But, you don't want that to happen, especially if you actually need the help. So that was signed into law. Definitely look that up. It's HR 224, Disabled Veterans Housing Support Act. Next one up is that he signed off was HR 1823, VA Budget Shortfall Accountability Act. Excuse me real quick. So this act was signed into law, again, 20th of January. It was created to fix the VA's budgeting issues after the department asked for billions of dollars in emergency cash, and then only later to reveal that they actually had a surplus. It brings the Government Accountability Office, or the GAO, it brings them in to perform a forensic audit to figure out why the numbers were so off. And so the goal here is to make the VA more transparent so that the budget drama doesn't get in the way of veteran care. And then the Fast Vets Act, that's 444, HR 4446. And so that makes VAs or VRNE job training programs a lot more flexible for veterans with disabilities. If a veteran's healthcare changes and they decide they want to pursue a different career, the VA is now required to update that vocational training plan to match that. So it's designed to ensure that job rehab actually fits a veteran's real life situation. So that is huge. A lot of times, like I have not experienced this yet for obvious reasons because my VRNE is a little jacked up, but I have to believe, based on what I read in Fast Vets Act, that once you pick a plan, you're kind of locked in there, even if your disability changes. You can go from 50 to 100 and now you want to do something different based on those disabilities or based on that service connection, and you can't move. Now this changes the game. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think my understanding of it is, and we had I forget the guy's name because I'm bad with names. That's why I have my name tattooed on my arm so I don't forget it.
No,
But
do you really?
yeah, but for we had a guy. What was the guy's name? He came on and he was really, really smart about all the VR&E stuff. And we had talked with him for about an hour or two. But from my understanding of it, it's if you finish a program and you feel like you need to go back and revisit it or change gears or move around, then at that point I think you can shift gears. But actually, like, and I haven't tried to do too much adjustment. The only adjustment I did was adding on my language learning certificates to my program because of the fact that I am in Europe. So those languages do technically help if I need to go out in the economy or whatever to look for jobs. But that was a pretty straightforward thing. I just had to talk with my VR&E counselor. We sat down, we reviewed it. He looked at it. We made the justification worksheet for it or whatever. And then he just approved it. Same with if you're getting any kind of equipment or anything added to your VR&E program package, such as a laptop, a printer, or anything like that. It's all a matter of just having the paperwork to substantiate it and then pushing that through. So I don't know about changing careers midstream. I could definitely ask about it and find out. I think it would be possible. But yeah, if that act is signed, hopefully the folks running those programs will be quickly informed about it and start pushing that out to folks and getting people set up so they can do, because that does happen. You get through halfway through a degree and you're like, I've been looking at the job market and this looked good 6 months ago, especially with the way technology is moving nowadays with AI and everything else. Things move fast, things change very fast, and jobs that were, great 6 months ago might not be existent.
Was it this gentleman here?
Yeah, that guy.
The Paisley Prince.
The Paisley Prince.
I love that dude. He's the one that brought the rubber chicken on stage.
That's right.
the Paisley Prince.
Super smart.
Navy cop says he chatted with him too before the government shut down. Yeah, he's a good dude. Good dude. I like him. And he also, Navy cop also says, in Washington, I was told I need to refuse my VA disability pay in order to be eligible for any assistance programs. It's been insane. That's crazy. What does one have to do with the other? Wow. Like the state of Washington?
Sounds like it's time to move to South Dakota.
Yeah, for real, right? What the hell is that about? Well, I wanted to share this here real quick. This was something I just made a video on this guy here, and a lot of folks, it resonated with a lot of folks. Here, I'll add it to the stage. This was on the Marine Corps Times. It says VA leaders' policies delaying care, destroying workforce. Report says. I went through the report. There's an entire report on this submitted by the Senate Democrat Veterans Affairs Committee. It's kind of a scathing report on the VA and what they're doing and how much they're how many people they've lost, the effects it's having. I think on here it says mental health care now averages 35 days, have grown in 15 states to more than 40 days, twice the VA standard. And it says at one Ventura, California VA clinic, wait times for behavioral health treatment rose 121 days after 7 of its 12 mental health providers left following a return to office mandate. They've lost 40,000 employees. 88% of them work for the Veterans Health Administration. Let me see. It says the VA has lost roughly 1,000 physicians, 3,000 registered nurses, 700 social workers, and 1,500 schedulers. In addition, Veterans Benefits Administration has lost 1,500 claims examiners. So if you wonder why your claim is backed up, there you go. But this is, let me see if the report will show up on the screen here. Yeah, here we go. This is just, let me actually give you the whole report here. The full report is available here. I made the video and I dropped all the links in the description of the video. I think I made the video a day or two ago. But the report is called Breaking the Pact, Impacts of Trump, Doge, and Collins' Ongoing Assault on Veterans. Really strong words on that. This is run by Richard Blumenthal, ranking member of the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs. And man, I mean, there's charts, there's tables. I mean, they back up all their stuff. There's statements from advocates. There's statements from veterans, or should I say VA workers. You know, somewhere down here, I just saw a bunch of statements from them. Anyway, you can find them through there. But yeah, a lot of, if you're curious about the VA and why things are being backed up, I would definitely check this one out. Actually, let me share the link here. This is to this first link is to the actual report, and let me share the link to the Marine Times if it will let me go back. Yeah, here we go. And this is the Marine Times link where you can see they kind of break it down a little bit for you. I made the video. It's like I basically spell everything out in about 5 minutes. But if you would rather read it yourself instead of listening to my freaking voice, then all good.
Yeah, and also, I just saw in the email from the VA, I get the regular emails from the VA, and they had highlighted something about VA jobs and hiring for VA. I believe it's just healthcare professionals mainly. But if you go to vacareers.va.gov, you can get connected to any of those jobs. If you're out there looking for a job, you want to work with the VA, help veterans, push things forward, bring us into the future, and help the VA up their workforce numbers. I think there's a bunch of jobs out there right now that they're trying to fill mainly in the healthcare sector, so the VHA side of the house, to get providers and things like that. But it looks like they also have some rural facilities around the country that they're trying to fill as well, because they just got done building a bunch of facilities, right? Like 30, 40 facilities nationwide. So they definitely need people.
You got to put bodies in there now.
Yep. Bodies and seats.
Yeah. But, you know, I hope what they do, I mean, you want to vet the right people. You want to bring the right people in the VA, but I hope that it's not like the whole USA Jobs thing where it's you put an application in or whatever, you apply for the job, and you don't hear anything back until like 4 or 5 months down the road. And then when you do hear back, it says, we went with somebody else, unfortunately, or whatever, you know, that canned email that they send. So hopefully that's not happening. If they really need folks and they're qualified, hey, I got a license here. I'm a doctor, a physician, nurse, whatever, licensed social worker. Let's get you to work. Let's bring you in ASAP. Hopefully they cut all the crap and then they get folks in there. Because like I mentioned before, man, like my own appointment for like a mental health appointment.
Yeah.
I called in to make an appointment, and they're like, oh yeah, it'll be about 3 months before you hear back. I'm like, 3 months? What? You know, and this is me coming off of, gosh, when I was active duty just 2 years ago, it was quick, right? You get the referral.
Yep.
Even before any of this happened in 2024, I was able to get a referral. No questions asked. It was like, hey, yeah, we'll get you in there. And I was good for maybe 15 sessions, something like that. And then afterwards, I don't know. Now it's like it's backed up 3 months. Well,
as a retiree, do you have to go straight through the VA clinic? Could you also go on the base to like the local base healthcare clinic or hospital and go through them as well?
I probably could. I don't know. I haven't touched anything regarding TRICARE.
Okay.
Because I have like the VA stuff, you know, for the rating. They give you services for the rating or whatever. So I've just gone through the VA to do all that. And it's been smooth up until like now. And I'm wondering, what the hell's the holdup? Well, now I'm reading this report, they probably don't have enough people for all this stuff.
Yeah.
It was a pain in the ass just to get. So I left my eyeglasses in Guatemala. I recall I was packing all my stuff and I probably left them on. It'd be cheaper for me to get a new pair than have them ship it out or whatever. And when I contacted the Airbnb, they're like, "Yeah, we don't have anything here." But I'm like, "I know I left them out there, whatever. Maybe the person tossed them, whatever." So I went to the VA. I'm like, "Hey, can I get another pair of eyeglasses?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna have to see if you're approved for this stuff." Like 2 weeks later, they're like, "Yeah, you're. The doctor said that you changed a pair out already because they didn't fit right. I got a large freaking dome, and when I got it, I was like, it was tight. It was hurting my temples, right?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Yeah, I changed it out because it's hurting." They're like, "Yeah, that was your second pair." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
But I didn't take them home with me. I left them there with you guys. So I had to get special approval, a waiver, if you will, to get another pair of eyeglasses. So whatever the hell that means, I'm like, "Look, just make it happen, please," because I'm working off an old prescription here. It's making my head hurt. So whatever. But yeah, things are taking a little bit longer, man. Yeah, Holly for Bill says community care is the answer. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I will definitely look into that.
Yeah. And Navy Cop says, finally got the VRNE reach out, but they assumed a time for the intake Zoom call without asking at a time that I may need to be at work, worried that if I cancel in order to reschedule, I will lose out. I mean, the worst case scenario would be that. I think it would be a matter of just emailing your VRNE rep back or contacting them if they have a messaging system or if you got their number, call them up and just have a candid little conversation with them real quick. Generally speaking, like I've only worked with a handful of VRNE representatives so far, but all the ones that I've worked with have been really, really responsive, really good, really flexible with my schedule, with my time, especially, overseas. I guess they kind of have to do that in a lot of cases, but I would just reach out to them. And if they can't, then I would try everything I can to be in that Zoom call, even if you got to take it at work or, talk to your boss at work or whatever, and see if you can just take a few minutes and take that.
Navy Cop, man, I'll tell you, they did the same thing for me when I started my VRNE, like the initial VRNE call. It was at a time where I was going to be at work, and this is when I was a federal employee. I asked the same questions, and I was told, "Don't reschedule. For whatever reason, don't reschedule because it's going to take longer." So that's what I did. I didn't reschedule. I went into a conference room at my job, and I just sat there for like 30 minutes in the corner, and I went through the meeting. That's what I did. And I know, Navy Cop, I know you mentioned you just started your job, so it'd be weird if you're like sitting on the toilet taking a meeting or something like that, because that's the only place that's available.
Yeah.
Like, who's this guy talking to in the stall?
in the parking lot in your car?
Yeah. Is he just talking to himself? No. So did we hire the right guy? No, but yeah, definitely try everything you can to get into that meeting. I mean, I'd say last resort is to get a hold of them to reschedule, because anything that has to do with any kind of VRNE stuff, man, I kind of like the CMP exams, right? I don't want to touch the rescheduling button on that one.
Yep. Same.
Yeah. Harley for Bill says community care if VA cannot accommodate you within 30 days or just use your TRICARE. Yeah. I was considering using my TRICARE, but I think it's like $30 per session for if you want to go see like a therapist or something. So I didn't want to have to do that or pay that if I didn't have to. So, but I'm definitely going to check out the community care. I appreciate it, Harley. Or Bill. Harley, like you drive Harley, you ride Harleys. So the Harley is for Bill. So I assume your name is Bill.
Or Bill's for the Harley.
Damn it, man. You threw a whole different equation at me now. Now you got me thinking, dude.
Math in public.
No, hell no. Hell no. Navy Cop says, my last rep was horrible. This is a new guy who could be better. But I do know they are working 125 plus case per rep. Oh shit. I'll be onboarding to my new job tomorrow, so I'll be asking the question about it. That's the tough part right there is they're BRD counselors, but they're essentially case managers, right?
Yeah.
Working with 100. I know that they're working with that much because my VRD counselor also told me that he's working with 100 plus cases around the area because when they were backed up here in California, they sent it out to other VRD reps across the country to cover those. My VRD rep happens to be here around my location, but he's also taking on other cases. So I completely understand. Yeah, they need to hire more reps, man. Is what they need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you, Navy cop, man, I'm definitely gonna check out the community care, just like you and Bill mentioned. I've had this thing where I really want, and nobody has them. I can't find them. I really want a pair of old school like Ben Franklin eyeglasses, and I got a special order them, like the two little round, little oval ones down here. I think that'd be so cool to have, man. Old school Ben Franklin ones.
I got a pair of
covered.
What are they?
A monocle.
The John Lennon glasses that I scooped up from somewhere. I think it was some thrift shop or something like that. My dad actually scooped them up. Yeah, because he was a big John Lennon fan. So he was an optometrist. So he was big into glasses either way. But he had a pair of the John Lennon specs, and I still got them there in a box. They're all sealed up and everything.
Yeah.
I like the money.
You know, the VA will not cover monocles, man. I would love a monocle on a chain. You know, like you're reading a paper.
Yeah.
Pull out the fucking monocle, you know?
Yeah. Like the
Peanut Man. My pocket watch. Like the Peanut Man. Yeah. Hell yeah. A Monopoly Man or something. Yeah. Or maybe get the ones with the glasses on a stick, you know, like when you're at the theater.
Yep. Yeah, I literally had to buy my last pair of glasses because the ones that I wanted to get were not offered to me, and I have to go through the military clinic to get my glasses here. So,
oh shit!
Just went and took my prescription and paid for it, and just ate the cost.
Might have to, dude. Like one of these,
like a pro private. Yeah, like the E4 Mafia. That's what he said.
The E4 Mafia just, God, they don't work, man. Yeah, so you're right, man. Harley for Bill. I might have to spend a couple bucks for that, man. I don't know. I act like a broke private. I'm a very, very frugal person. I only spend on what I need, and I don't need much to live. So I like to spend on experiences rather than things. And so that's where I am. I stopped spending like that when I was really a broke private. Anytime I get paid my $200 a month paycheck or whatever, or every 2 weeks, I would just go to the ATM, take it out, and then go to the bar or to the nightclub or something. Those days are gone.
Keep them on.
Says Josh has me on a tight budget. Josh has me on a tight. Movement Financial has me on a tight budget. Oh man,
that's right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to grow stuff, man. Navy Cop says, just make sure you request a community care referral if you didn't know before trying to schedule. I'm impressed with the variety of frames that the VA offers, though. So there's that. Yeah, I did ask the VA when I went over there to see if I can get a pair of BCGs, but they no longer carry the old school ones.
Nope.
So they gave me some. Well, they didn't give me the BCGs. They had some other ones that were like square, but I opted for these kind. Damn, look at that prescription, dude.
Yep. At least they're not like mine, like transitions and bifocals and crap. I only need them for short-term reading, but to take glasses off and put glasses on constantly all day is just like a pain in the butt. And the only glasses you can get through the clinic are the ones with the bifocals with the lines. And I was like, yeah, I'm not old enough for that yet.
So, looking like Mr. Magoo.
Nah, no, thank you.
Dang. But yeah, man, that's a good piece of gear there, gentlemen. I'm really glad you guys brought that up. Community care. As Harley for Bill says, yeah, they don't promote it. Anytime I've gone to the VA, nobody ever talks about community care. So it makes sense to start doing some digging and actually look into that.
Hey, I got
just
your
like
back,
they don't
man.
really promote the. Yeah. Oh shit. Look at that. It's on camis too. I love that.
Yep.
And how much are they? No, they ain't worth that much, man.
$45.
Hell no. Birth control class. Oh man. No. I can't do that.
Nah.
No. So just like the VA doesn't really promote like the whole health thing either. I was just talking to or it was mentioned by, I think we had him on the podcast before, Raymond German. So he just mentioned that he gets like massages, yoga, and acupuncture through the whole health. So it's out there. Something I'm gonna review. I'm gonna go check out. eBay has them cheaper. Yeah.
H-Town Vets, what's up?
H-Town Vet, my man. Look at this. Good morning, Vic. My glasses are like John's, and John's are like yours. Actually,
I know, right? Twinsies.
I like H-Town Vets podcast. If you haven't, everybody out there, if you haven't checked out H-Town Vets podcast, H-Town Vet, excuse me, H-Town Vet North Side. Check him out. He does some awesome live streams, and I mentioned that I like the backgrounds, right? It's a lot going on. I like it. He asks a lot of pertinent questions, a lot of relevant questions on current topics for veterans. You know, I know he talks a lot about what do you call him, Lieutenant Dan? Daniel Gade. Gade, that's his name.
Yeah. Dan.
So he talks a lot about that and just relevant topics, man. I really like that. Yeah, Navy Cop says, check out acupuncture, but our region no longer supports massage therapy, apparently. More reason to move, dude.
Yeah,
you mentioned it.
Time to relocate.
Yeah. More reason to move, dude. They're taking everything away. I think he mentioned he was looking at Idaho.
Yeah. Idaho's a nice place.
I've never been
and
there.
It's one of those, it's actually some fun facts about Idaho. I know I sound like Sheldon Cooper. Fun facts about Idaho. I believe it's Idaho. They have a national cybersecurity like training center thing there in Idaho somewhere. If I'm not mistaken, it's Iowa or Idaho, but I'm pretty sure it's Idaho. It's a little hidden gem place in the middle of nowhere because Idaho is like, farmland and nothing. Some nice little communities out there though.
Potatoes, right? Potatoes come from Idaho.
Yep. Used to. I don't know. They might be coming from China or somewhere else.
Chinese potatoes.
Never know.
Oh man. No, all good stuff, dude. I'm glad that we're getting all the info. Shit, I'm learning things from the comments here. We got folks teaching me stuff too. So, it's I'm now the grasshopper. I'm the student now. So excellent stuff, man. Let me see here. I connected with I do the Veterans of Coffee things right on the Green Logbook every so often. And then I also connect with another Veterans Coffee thing. It's kind of a closed group thing. And I connect with this closed group on different topics that we want to cover. A lot of these folks are retired, and a lot of them are still active duty. They're all from all different services. And we talk a lot about leadership. We talk about just a ton of topics, man. Let me see what we were talking about yesterday. Oh, we're talking about like kind of business type of things, like surrounding yourself with the right people, expanding networks, and it really is kind of a network thing. So that is fun, and we're looking at expanding that. So more to come on this one. I'm going through a couple things with a few folks on potentially coming to your town and doing some live sessions. So we will see. I wonder if we would get anybody that shows up. I'm not trying to sell out stadiums. I'm just trying to connect with folks.
Yeah. Interesting fact. Fun facts.
Idaho also has one of the deeper freshwater lakes that the Navy uses for submarine underwater warfare testing. The more you know. Dun, dun, dun. Yes, sir. Networking is key. I absolutely agree, man. Like I had mentioned, H-Town Vet this past week has been probably, I've networked more in this past week than I've probably done in most of 2025. I was on the phone several times a day, every day, connecting with different veteran organizations, connecting with different folks doing big things in different parts of the veteran sphere. We got a guy running for California VFW commander. There's talked to a retired colonel yesterday who is one of the members who runs the Ton Tavern Project out in Philadelphia. Living Blue Apparel. Also talked to a couple authors that I spoke with, two of them being PhDs who wrote stuff on veterans, criminal justice. So a lot of connections, but you expand your network, you get to know people, they get to know you, and they'll refer you to the right folks. I got another guy who, this dude is, I have not talked to this gentleman yet, but actually I got in contact with this other guy. He is oh gosh, where is this? It'll come to me, man. Here we go. He is served in Army Special Operations. He was in the Afghan withdrawal. Now he helps people transition out of service. And so I'm connecting with this guy through somebody that I had on the podcast. So it's kind of like you meet somebody, they introduce you to somebody else because they like the work you're doing. It's awesome. It's a great network. It really is.
Yep. That's top three things when you're getting out of the military is make sure you get your goddamn BDD taken care of first and foremost, priority above everything else. Get your finances in order before you get out and work on your network, and everything else will fall into place where it needs to fall into place after those three things are taken care of.
Yeah. And then do all the fun things like, get out of debt before you get out.
Yeah.
And then figure out what you want to do with your SPP. That's fun things like that. Fun things.
Well, I mean, you got a guy, you got Josh, so you can call Josh and he can take care of that for you.
I got a guy who knows a guy who can get you out of debt. Isn't that how they talk over in Sicily, man?
No, that's not how they talk.
No, not at all.
New York, Sicily, not Sicily.
New York, Sicily. Yeah. I got a guy. I want to ask you, John, man, what are you reading right now? What's on your radar? What's on your list?
I
was having
an interesting conversation with my son the other day. He called me up early in the morning too. So he's in Germany, I'm here in Italy. I got up at like 6:30, did my regular kind of few things in the morning, got some coffee, went outside to sit down and drink my coffee. And I saw a missed call from my son, and I was like, what the hell? It's like 7:00 in the morning. What's he? So I called him real quick. I was like, hey, is everything okay? He's like, yeah. I was just getting ready for work. And I thought I had a few minutes, so I'd call. I was like, all right, that's pretty sweet. I love that. So we talked for a few minutes, and we talked about some books. And he's actually reading the 48 Laws and the Laws of Power. So both of those by Robert Greene. I was just finishing up Things Become Other Things, which is the book that I had told you about last week, a couple weeks ago, by, let me get my library open, by
it'll come to you, man. Come on, it'll come to you.
Wait for it. Anyways, Things Become Other Things is the title. It's about
Is it
long
Craig Mod?
walks. Craig Mod. There you go. So I just finished that book up, or was just finishing that book up, and I was talking to my son. He was like, "Yeah, what's the next book you're going to read?" Because we have these conversations a lot as well. And I told him that I'd stopped reading the Daily Stoic and the Daily Laws and those daily kind of snippet books where you get 1 page a day or whatever. I was reading those for years and years, like a decade plus, just to get my morning started, to kind of kickstart things, get my brain going. So he had mentioned those Robert Greene books, and I was like, yeah, the only one I haven't really read is The 50th Law by Robert Greene. It's basically Robert Greene showcasing writing about 50 Cent, who is the rapper. If you don't know anything about 50 Cent, he's a rapper. He was rapping with Dr. Dre, and he got signed by Eminem and Dr. Dre to be on their label. Anyways, that's the only book I hadn't read. So I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and start it today, from that day when I had that conversation with my son. So I'm started reading that. I'm a couple chapters in. Really good. It's kind of like the street law version of the 48 Laws of Power. And it kind of ties all of it together. And then it tells it through the narrative of 50 Cent's kind of struggles and his coming up through the hood in Jamaica, Queens, and getting shot 9 times just before he was about to drop his album. And then right after that, the label dropped him off of the label because of the violence and everything that was surrounded him. So yeah, just a lot about being fearless and a lot about taking charge of your life and being self-reliant. It's a really, really good book. It's a lot better than I expected it to be.
Excellent. I like that. Navy Cop says 35 cents because inflation hurts, right?
That's right.
No longer 50 cents. Yeah, 50 cents. So yeah, and he's a very savvy businessman as well.
Yeah,
50 Cent is.
very. Yep.
Yeah, and he also dropped that that P. Diddy documentary. I think it's on Netflix, which pretty scathing. I don't know. You look at it, and then when they ask him questions, he's like, "Just watch the video. Just watch the documentary." Crazy, man. That's crazy how much these folks are protected. I'll tell you, there's 2 things on my side here. I just finished reading this one here, and I'll share it on the screen. This one's Walking with Sam. Just finished that one, my first book of the year. Great stuff by Andrew McCarthy, A Father, a Son, and 500 Miles Across Spain, because that's one thing I wanted to do, was walk across Spain in the Camino de Santiago de Compostela. So I'll be just a great read, and it was an audio book, right? I was between the book and the audiobook, but I finished the audiobook first because as I'm maybe doing my workout, out for a walk, I just like to listen. So awesome one. Totally recommend it if you're a father and looking to connect with your kids. This is a great read. Another one that I just put in my cart is this one. This kind of was, I never expected to put this one on there. Where is it here? The Power of the Powerless by, I can't pronounce his first name, Vaclav Havel. So that one is, I'll give you a little quick synopsis on that one. Cowed by life under Communist Party rule, a greengrocer hangs a placard in their shop window. Workers of the world unite. Is it a sign of the grocer's unerring ideology or a symbol of the lies we perform to protect ourselves? Written in 1978, his meditation on political dissent, rituals of its suppression, and the sparks that reignite it. So, The Power of the Powerless. A portrait of activism in the face of falsehood and intimidation. The Power of the Powerless remains a rousing call against the allure of apathy. So, pretty interesting. I saw somebody speaking about it, or I read somebody speaking about it, and I thought, this is Seems kind of relevant. I don't know. So,
Did you ever get a chance?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead. No. Go ahead. I got to answer for this.
John or Vic, do you have any tips on how transitioning service members can prepare for moving to the state or country they plan to live in? Yeah, I do. Yeah, there you go. Bottom line up front. Get that book there, H-Town Vets. Start with that book.
Chapter 6.
Bottom line up front. Chapter 6, what you need to know before you leave the military. It's a book that John and I wrote, last year, I think.
Yep.
Last year? Yeah. 10 short chapters on what you need to know before you leave the military, called Bottom Line Up Front. But, I actually put your question up there.
Yep.
I'd say the biggest, one of the biggest things is actually pinpointing where you want to end up.
Yep.
After the fact. There's so much stress, so much emotions going through your mind, trying to figure out where your kids are going to go to school if you have kids, what your wife is going to be doing, your husband's going to be doing, or whoever. After the fact, like as a job, what the service member transitioning will be doing as a job, where do you want to end up? The housing costs now are like skyrocketing. What's the cost of living? So one of the biggest things is pinpointing where exactly you want to end up, I think. And the actual move itself is not that hard because you get one last PCS after you leave the service. And you can waive that up to, I think it's 5 years, as long as you get with your DMO,
Yep.
section. However, if once you choose that place and you make the move, but there's a ton of things that come along with that. You got to think about the taxes. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. I was a state of Florida resident for the entire 20 years I was in the military. I retired in California. They have state tax here. They don't have state tax in Florida. So then that was an eye opener. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know the amount that was coming. Like I didn't actually do the calculations. So that was kind of an eye opener, right? But I also know that some things are a little bit cheaper in California than they are in Florida. So I was okay with that, kind of offset a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot to consider. I mean, John, I'll turn it over to you too. I know you got some things that you'd like to share as well.
Yeah, no, I like all the stuff that you just mentioned. I think what a lot of people do is they have this checklist or at least most people have a checklist, if not just in their mind, maybe written down, maybe on a notepad or something, or notes on your phone of the things that are really, really important to you as far as once you get out of military service, whether that's finding a job, what the paycheck looks like, the housing situation, where do you want to relocate to? I would argue to say against anybody who says, yeah, you got to have the right income and the right place to live, and it's got to have the right schools. And I feel like all that's important, but I think there's a couple things on that checklist that are maybe implied that don't get the attention that they deserve. And that's, what kind of life do you want to live? How do you want to spend the next 10 to 20 to 30 years of your life? And that doesn't have to actually be locked in stone. I think that's another thing. So the one thing is like, what are the most important things? Family, your wife, your kids, your husband, your brothers and sisters, mom and dad, if they're close by or not. Those kind of things I would take more into consideration than I would like the job, the paycheck, living in a fancy house or not living in a fancy house. Like you don't really need a 40,000 square foot house. I know that's exaggeration, but for 2 people and a dog. And I know folks that have like big houses with like 9 bedrooms, and it's just them and their pet, and both of them work full time. So you're literally spending like, I don't know, 30 hours a week in your house, and the majority of that's sleeping. So I would just take it from that perspective, because yes, your finances are going to change. Tax implementations are going to change depending on where you relocate to, what your tax situation is in a particular state. Like you were mentioning about the difference between Florida and California. A lot of people don't take that into consideration. And then the other thing I'll say is it doesn't have to be permanent, right? I mean, there's there's ways, if let's say you're an empty nester, if you're in your 40s, coming up on 40s, and your kids are grown, if you happen to fall in that situation, you could potentially just put all your stuff in storage and then just go rent a place somewhere, stay there for 6 months or a year, go Airbnb somewhere, go to South America or overseas and live somewhere for a year or whatever on a visa. And the cost of living in a lot of those places is significantly less than it is in the United States, depending on where you're at. And if you're in the military, you're probably near a bigger city, right? You're not in some kind of rural area in the middle of nowhere, unless you're in some of those training facility areas out in California in the desert or something like that. But
29 Palms. Just say it. Just say it, John. 29 Palms. It sucks.
But that aside, it's not a permanent. It doesn't have to be a permanent decision. If you're looking for a permanent residence, I would say I would actually take the time. And we did have a guest on that did this. He stayed in a camper for like almost 10, 11 months in that transitioning period because of circumstances. But he said that was one of the kind of the best things that he did coming out of the military, because it gave him a different perspective on like where he wanted to go. It gave him a little bit more time to think and a little bit more space to be able to kind of plan that out and understand a little bit more about what he wanted to do. So I would say just figure out what lifestyle you want to live and try to build around that lifestyle expectation or what you think that lifestyle looks like. And the easiest way to do that without overcommitting to it or locking yourself in for 20 or 30 years is to just take 6 months, take 3 months, take a couple weeks and go on vacation or go to these places and spend time there. And don't just go there and see all the sights and do all the fun stuff. Like go there like you do in a lot of cases. I do myself as well. I'll go live on the economy somewhere in an Airbnb downtown or in the population of the city or around folks where maybe if it's another country, nobody speaks English, right? And just kind of immerse myself in the local markets, local shopping, local businesses, the places to get coffee, the places to eat, like all those kind of different things, just to feel it out. I've done that in many, many different places in various countries. And that's really helped me inform my decision of where I wanted to live, how I wanted to stay there. And like I said, in chapter 6 in our book, we talk about this a little bit, and we're just kind of scratching the surface because we don't want to go into like this whole diatribe about it like I am right now. But also, you know, I know you've been on with H-Town Vets. If you guys want, I can come on and talk about this if this is a big topic as well, or me and Vic can come on together, either way. But yeah, love talking about this topic in particular because I know it goes across our minds, even though we're both settled. You know, we're always talking about potentially moving to, well, I've already done it, but potentially moving to South America or somewhere where it's a lot cheaper. Your dollar stretches a lot farther and you can live in a lot less stressful environment around people who are, their whole day is basically built around work a couple hours, take 4 hours for a nap, work a couple more hours, and then take the rest of the evening off and, you know, sit with family and enjoy life. Versus some of the things that we do as Americans in our American lifestyles that we've built for ourselves.
Yeah, there's a lot to consider with that. So, hey, great question though, H-Town Bet, because let me see what you put something on here after the fact. I was not prepared, and I never thought about being flexible when leaving the military. Thank you, Vic and John. Yeah, man, that's what we're here for, man. It's all about the experiences. It is tough trying to figure someplace else to live, and I found that it's, you know, I'll put it like this: we bought a place here where I currently live, and you know I have smaller kids. We downsized, right? We were renting a bigger house, like a way bigger house than we needed, I think, and I thought, you know, my daughter's in college, my son's about to go away here in a few years to college. And then I have a smaller child. Like, do I really need whatever 2,500 square feet of house, right? And I don't like, you know, I'm inside anyway. I don't like being inside all day. And I thought, you know, downsize, get a smaller place. And then after the fact, I can rent this place out, like Airbnb it or something, or rent it out to, a local military family or something. And like John mentioned, go out and rent a house for 6 months at a time in, I don't know, Merida, Mexico, or San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, or Guatemala was beautiful. I would love to live out there for 6 months, and just kind of bounce around. That way you don't have to. You got a home base at home. Move out somewhere else for 6 months at a time. Sign a lease, whatever it is, 6 months at a time. Go live amongst the locals. Guatemala is cheap. Costa Rica is getting a little up there, but you can live a pretty damn good life renting a place and probably have everything paid for under $1,000 a month in Guatemala. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tiny, like you mentioned, tiny home there, H-Town. Not exactly tiny home, but we got everything we need in this house. 4-bedroom house, has an office, but it's not 2,500 square feet. It wasn't an immense house. I mean, I consider that 2,500 square feet a pretty big place. Didn't need all that, really. So we got what we need here. Bedrooms, a bedroom for everybody, living area, a kitchen, a backyard where I can toss the ball with my kid if I want to. Front yard with a bunch of trees. I mean, that's all I need. All I need, really. Just had to identify that, put that on a checklist. Like, what do I actually want here? Because when I retired, my wife and I did have jobs, like full-time jobs. Like I was out of the house all the time. Right now I work from home here, so I'm here all the time, but we were out of the house. And just like John mentioned, like, how much are you're paying a mortgage to spend 30 hours a week at home because you're away at work all the time? Nah.
Yeah. And I guess 30 hours is a little bit like it's more than that, right? 168 hours a week, 40 hours of that. I'm not doing math in public, but I'm just saying it's not as much time as you'd think spending at home when you spend 7 or 8 hours a night of that time sleeping, right?
Yeah, you're at work for 8 hours, then you have to fight, maybe depending on where you work or how, where you live, you got to fight traffic for another hour.
Yep.
You spend time here, you sleep, you spend a couple hours with the family, you go to sleep, do it all over again the next day. So you really have just a minimal amount of hours during the week, potentially all of your weekends, but I mean, do you really identify how much house do you really need? And do you want the house so you can show off, to the neighbors, to your friends, or do you just really want a place that you can live? We could have easily moved to Texas and purchased a 3,000 square foot house easily.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I don't want it for one. Yeah, a bunch of land, right? That's what I'm after right now is the land. I don't care about the house. I want some land right now. So that's why I've got Zillow open. I've got realtors and stuff open on here on my tabs. I'm looking for some land somewhere, so, but yeah, you got to identify really where you want to be and what you want to do that will work out for your family. What is Navy Cop saying here? Naples, Italy, the money. Why do today what I can put off tomorrow? That was definitely the work ethic when I was stationed. Yeah.
Showing off is expensive. Yeah, it is.
It is, dude. It is. I mean, dude, like I'll tell you, I'll be honest, man. Like where I live, there's a lot of land, right? It's people have some land around here. A lot of the neighbors have like RVs, and I'm like, what do I like? I thought like I could easily park an RV next to the house. I'm like, do I want an RV? I look at all these other RVs that are sitting there. I'm like, how often do they take these things out? These things are immense. They're like a little house in itself.
Yeah.
How often do I would I ever take this thing out? So I'd rather just rent one for $1,000 and then just give it back so they can do all the maintenance or whatever. Just get one that's working. And I don't ever have to clean it or, do whatever. Showing off is expensive, man. You said it right, H-Town.
Yeah. Same with cars, man. Cars are, I guess they're just one of the, I mean, and I grew up in the States, like I'm American 100% to the core. and I love cars, and I've driven a couple new cars, but really the price tag to get the new car to be able to enjoy it. I mean, it depends on the car, but really it's not really that, it's not worth it. Over here, I bought a car with cash. I think we paid $4 or $5 grand for the car. The car works great. Take it to the shop once in a while, get it maintained, keep it up, change the oil, but it gets us from point A to point B. Like, what else do we need? I don't need some fancy ass car, especially when it's going to get scratched everywhere you park here. So why?
Yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah, exactly. Dude, one of the dudes that lives down the street bought himself a brand new Tacoma. New Tacoma.
Beautiful.
A couple kids were playing some baseball, throwing around the baseball on that same street. And I happened to be outside getting groceries out, and I hear, boom. And the kids ran, and I'm like, oh shit, like they hit this dude's car with the damn, like there's a dent in the back. Not that it has anything to do with it, but I'm like, don't be buying a brand new car, dude.
I mean, to each his own, right?
Been paid. Yeah, all my shit's been paid, man. I just feel happy knowing that I don't owe somebody else money.
Yep. I like not having a car payment. Same with the bike. Bought the bike. I mean, I split it up over a few months, but it's paid off. I paid it in a couple months, and it's done, and done. It's mine now.
Yeah. Same thing. Yeah. So like Navy Cop put it on here. I bought a green car on the Italian economy for a few hundred. It was green. Even the local national mechanics had no idea what the make or model was. Oh man. So that's how they do it when I was stationed over in Japan. Right. You got people who like the lemon lots or whatever, or you got people who are PCSing. Yeah. And then, over there they have this thing called JCI, the Japanese something insurance, right? So every 2 years, you got to renew it every 2 years. So of course the price of the cars go up and down depending on who you're buying it from, depending on how much JCI is left in the car. If it's nearing the 2 years, it's probably going to go down because you're probably going to have to pay $1,000 to get that thing JCI registered, insured, and all that stuff. So if the JCI, if just got renewed, the price is going to be a little bit higher. So I ended up purchasing actually, I'll show you, man. It was, I fucking love this little car, man. It was a 7-seater. Yeah, here we go. Oh no, hold on. Let me pull this thing up here. All right. It was a 7-seater little car. Here we go. It was a little van, 7-seater with the whole sunroof, the whole glass sunroof. Tiny thing, man. Fucking tiny little thing, but I fit everybody in there. And it was 50 horsepower, I think. It was just trucking along. And if somebody would have hit me head on, I would have been done, dude, because you're sitting, the engine's in the back. You're sitting like the windshield and headlights are all in the front. You're sitting there and, there's nothing covering you. Yeah. So, and the wheels are like behind, like you're sitting on top of the wheels. So it feels like you're it feels like a toy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I purchased that one cash, kept it for like 2 years, worked out well, ended up selling it. And then again, you got folks who are paying big bucks because they want like the Nissan GTRs. I paid.
Hold on now.
The GTRs
I'll spend money on a GTR. If a GTR comes across my lap and I got the money, I'll buy it.
I would too if I was going to potentially take it back to the States with me,
right,
or keep it for longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a guy who worked for me, bought a GTR for like $12,000 to keep it for 2 years. I'm like, come on, dude, really? I don't know about that. No, that's crazy. That's not me. So yeah, it's.
I mean,
you got to do well with what you got, man.
And the cool thing about it is, not to stay on the car topic, but it's an interesting topic, right? Financially speaking, it's an interesting topic because we spend in the States, we spend a ton of money on vehicles, a ton of money, like 40, 50, 60, 70, like a lot of money. You had a soldier that was going through financial hardship. Was that
we were talking about? $93,000 in debt.
Yeah, and just got married to somebody who had like 5 kids. Like, it's insane.
Yeah,
It's insane.
he went from a single being a single Marine who was already 90 something thousand dollars in debt,
Yeah.
had a broken down vehicle at the barracks, who he owed $13,000 on that vehicle still, had just purchased a brand new Honda Civic,
Mm.
for I don't remember what the interest rate was, but I recall it being like $25,000, and ended up marrying a lady with 2 kids already. She was
Okay.
pregnant. So he went from being a single Marine to walking into a family of 5.
Yeah.
Insane, dude. I mean,
Yes.
you can't tell these people no, but you can talk some sense into them. Like,
Yeah.
I need you to think this through, buddy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, she's pregnant. You don't have to get married, like,
Just saying.
but he's like, it's the right thing to do, sir.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, fucking goddamn sir, whatever. It's the right thing to do, sir.
I think my point is like, even if you get a car that's 10 years old, right? And if it's about, because a lot of people I know get cars and they want the new latest technology and like the self-parking and like all that stuff. Like with all that self-driving, self-parking stuff to the side, you can get a car that's 10 years old, 15 years old, and you can just upgrade the dashboard with a stereo that does CarPlay, and you're basically 90% of the way there, because that's all that's in the dashboard in the modern cars anyways, except for some sensors. I mean, add some parking sensors, add a backup camera, and you're done. You're 90% of the way there. And you spent 500 $1,000 maybe,
Yeah. So just to kind of bring it back to center, Harley for Bill, that is why I won't buy eyeglasses.
Scrooge
These things
McDuck.
cost too much. My number one dime. Where's my number one dime at? No. I'm gonna go take a dip into a pool of quarters real quick. That shit would hurt, man. Remember that?
Yeah.
The dude would dive into
with all the money in it.
All the money. Imagine diving into a pool of quarters. You're done, dude. You break your neck.
No, thank you.
Hospital corpsman arriving. Oh, right on, man. Doc Shelley, 1969. Welcome to the Military Retirement Podcast. Awesome. No, hey, all good stuff, man. I love the connections that we're making on this. All the folks commenting on it. Navy Cop is always here with us, so shout out to Navy Cop as well. All the folks, H-Town Vet, good to have you on here. Harley for Bill, pre-64 quarters, he says. Yeah. So yeah, Doc Shelley now, all the folks that are on the channel with us, I really do appreciate it. It is what makes us a great community, like the whole veteran community. Thank you all for being here, and anybody out there listening, if you haven't already done so, we have a group on Facebook called the Military Retirement Group. Just approved about 15 people yesterday. I got 5 more to approve right now, right after this. But just great group of folks on Facebook. You don't have to be retired to be in that group. You could be a veteran. It doesn't matter if you serve 4 years or 40 years. You're always welcome. Just a good group of folks who have questions about military civilian transition, life after the military, relevant veteran topics, things like that, things that could affect things like what H-Town Vet mentioned, like, hey, where's the best place to live after? It's all subjective, but you really got to look at it. But a lot of these topics are covered on there, so consider joining up. Of course, there's no cost. It's a group, a Facebook group. So once you click join, it'll come to me, and then I'll reveal all your stuff and add you. On top of that, what else do we have going on? Next week, I will be coming to you live from Chesty Puller's house, which I'm excited about. We'll see how that goes. I'll be doing a walkthrough. I'll be doing a little tour of his home. And there's a lot of pictures online. If you look up the Puller house, a lot of pictures online. And I'll be sitting down with the gentleman who purchased the house. He's a retired Marine Corps Chief Warrant Officer 4, and just kind of talk to him about the history, what he has going on. He's got a lot of folks who do retirements there, who do they did the birthday cake cutting ceremony there. Just a lot of events, a lot of people. So it's like a museum. He opened it up as a museum. So very cool stuff. So I'll be out there doing a live stream and doing a tour of that. And a lot of guests coming up too, doing making a lot of connections, a lot of guests coming up, and looking forward to further connecting and bringing everybody in the community here that, that you're watching, all the folks out there watching, looking forward to bringing you some good content and some good stories.
H-Town, shoot us an email, man. info@militaryretirementpodcast.com so I can get your deets. Looked at your channel online here. I mean, I've looked at it a few times, but I just looked into the description and I was trying to get the email address up there. Couldn't find it. So either that or just hit me up on LinkedIn or whatever. And we can set some stuff up, man.
Absolutely. What did Navy cops say here? Starting next week, I will only be online for the Sunday show or Saturday if you're on, but I think the week lives will probably be during work. Got to get used to wearing pants instead of sweats again.
Pants not optional.
Wait. You wear pants, dude? You wear sweats? You wear things? No, I'm just kidding. Don't ask me to stand up. No, all good stuff, man. I'm glad that again we have that community. So with that, I don't know, unless you got something else, John.
Done.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming on. Please check out. I'll be doing some live streams on the Green Logbook. Upcoming guests on the Green Logbook as well. Shout out to our sponsors, Movement Financial. We got Wild Bill's Craft Beverage Company, drinkwildbills.com. And Ebby Travels. If you're looking to do Space A this year, you might want to check out Ebby Travels. Use code Green Logbook in all caps for 20% off of your monthly fee. It's 45 days for free anyway, so check out ebbytravels.com. With that, I love what we got going on here. I love the community. Thanks for watching the Military Retirement Podcast.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
All right. Out here.
Out here.
Make sure I don't know if I got